Meet Huddy. He is an 8-year-old who happens to be both a chess and musical prodigy. Can you tell I'm a proud older sister yet? Given his advanced mental standing, I wanted to see if Huddy surpassed his peers in the realm of standard cognitive development, as outlined in Jean Piaget's theory of cognitive development, Erik Erikson's theory of psychosocial development, and Lawrence Kohlberg's theory of moral reasoning. So I conducted a FaceTime interview with him and asked him a series of seemingly random yet incredibly telling questions. Hi, Huddy. Hi. Okay, I'm going to ask you a series of sometimes very easy and instinctive questions and sometimes very thought-provoking questions. But the important thing to remember for all of these questions is there is no right answer. There is no test aspect to this. I'm merely asking for your opinion, and I just want you to answer the questions as honestly as you think is possible. Are you ready? According to famous developmental psychologist Jean Piaget, Huddy would now be right at the cusp of the concrete operational stage of cognitive development, which usually occurs in children around ages 7 to 11. At this time, most children have mastered the concept of conservation, or the ability to determine that a certain quantity will remain the same despite adjustment of the container, shape, or apparent size. Okay, so this first question is a little bit weird, but I'm going to use these cups to try to ask you a certain question. As of right now, these two cups are of equal volume. See, the level of water in this cup is equal to the level of water in this cup. Do you see that?
Yeah.
Awesome. So here are two cups. Now I'm going to take this other cup. I'm going to bring it here. This cup is a lot bigger. And if I take one of the cups full of water here and I pour it in this cup, you see that the level of water in this cup is a lot higher than the level of water in this cup. So now the question is, which cup has more water?
It's equal. Symmetrical.
It's equal. Why is it equal?
Because even if you pour it into a different cup, it doesn't change the volume.
Exactly! Wow, that was perfect! It is during this concrete operational stage that Piaget theorized that children would be able to grasp concepts such as syllogism and basic logic, as exemplified by the following riddle. If John is in school, then Mary is in school. Right now, John is in school. Where is Mary?
In school.
Awesome, you got it! Wow, you are acing this. That wasn't very hard. Due to the ease with which Huddy was able to accomplish both of these tasks, it is safe to assume that he has far surpassed his peers in terms of Piaget's stages of cognitive development and is well on his way to blossoming into the final formal operational stage. And so now we move on to Erik Erikson's stages of psychosocial development. According to Erikson, Huddy would now just be emerging into the industry versus inferiority stage, where most children begin to conflate their self-worth with the amount that they are productive or quote-unquote successful. In other words, they begin to value success over other things like happiness or intelligence. You get the idea. Okay, this next one is going to be a little bit harder, so if you need a little bit of time to think, you can definitely have that. Are you ready? Okay. Is it better to be smart or successful?
Well, if you be successful, you don't need to have brains because either way you're going to be successful, and you don't need to be smart because whatever you do is going to be successful. So you don't really need to be smart.
That's true. So you think
but in the beginning of your era, I think that it's important to be smart because you can't be successful starting then.
Makes sense. So if you had to give just one answer, smart or successful, what would you say? Successful. Another concept that dominates this stage of psychosocial development is the concept of inferiority. For the first time in their lives, children who feel that they are not as successful as other children will develop inferiority complexes, often complexes that will stick with them for the rest of their lives. Sally is a new third grader. She's looking at her math textbook for the first time, and she sees numbers mixed with unfamiliar signs and symbols. She wonders to herself, what in the world does this all mean, and how am I ever going to learn all of this information? How do you think Sally feels right now?
Vexed. Like really confused.
Really confused. And what why do you think, or how do you think this confusion affects her feelings?
Frustratedness because like she's kind of jealousy because if the other students know how to do these, she'll be kind of jealous that she doesn't know.
Do you think she feels
Like
inferior?
she doesn't fit in.
Doesn't fit in. That's a good answer. And it was here that I began to notice that Hari's answers were starting to be a little bit divergent. Instead of generalizing the idea of inferiority to other students, as you can see in the following answer, Hari accounts for the possibility that each child is unique and feels things differently, a notion that a lot of children don't develop during this part of their lives. Johnny is also a third grader. He has a supportive teacher and environment, but math is not easy for him. He often does not score highly on exams. How do you think Johnny feels?
Well, it kind of depends on the person Johnny is.
What do you mean by that?
He can't like if he's careless, he doesn't really have to be like smart because he can just doesn't really care about math or anything. And I can just say, I don't care if I have bad grades.
It was at this time that I decided to transition into asking Hari questions concerning Lawrence Kohlberg's stages of moral development. According to Kohlberg, Hari would be in the first level of moral development, or the pre-conventional stage. In this stage, Kohlberg believed that children did activities that were considered good behavior in order to avoid punishment, gain rewards, or generally do behavior that is in the best interest of themselves. In other words, children are more likely to focus on the consequences of their actions instead of the intentions behind them. There is a delicious jar of cookies on the counter and you want one of the cookies. But your sister says that it's really important that you don't take a cookie because she is saving them to bring to her sick friend. And if you do, you will get in trouble later. Do you take the cookies?
No, because, well, I would if she allows me, but she's not really allowing me to have permission. And I don't really need the cookies right now, but the sixth friend kind of needs the cookies because he's kind of sick.
So you think you wouldn't take the cookies because of the sick friend?
Yeah, and it's the right thing to do.
Does it matter to you if you'll get in trouble if you do take the cookies?
Well, it doesn't really matter to get in trouble. It's just that it's the right thing to do.
Here we see that despite his age, Hari has surpassed Kohlberg's pre-conventional level of moral reasoning. So now we turn our attention to the next level of moral reasoning, the conventional level. In this stage, which encompasses most adolescents and adults, Kohlberg theorized that people began to worry about being perceived as good individuals and, as a result, would show good behavior in order to gain a good reputation. To you, how important is it that you have a good reputation in the community?
Well, again, it's kind of 50-50 because you need to be smart to prove. Like if someone goes on the road and asks you, you have a good name, but can I ask you a few questions? You need to be smart to answer them because you can't have a good name and not nothing.
And what is the other half?
That people like you and show respect to you and that you have a good name.
Is that important to you? Do you think it's important that people respect you and like you and say nice things?
Well, it's important, but also it's important that you prove that you show intelligence.
That is a wonderful answer, and I wish everybody in the entire world followed that idea. And so because Hari understands that reputation is not the only motivator of good behavior, he has passed this portion of the conventional level of morality. In the next stage of the conventional level of moral reasoning, Kohlberg believed that individuals develop an orientation toward fixed rules. In other words, the purpose of morality, or showing good behavior and following the rules, is to maintain the social order that is prescribed to us by an intrinsic authority like the government. Why do people follow the law?
Because it's the right thing to do. Because in the later days, you've told me that that you don't get paid for doing jury duty. So they're not really doing it because of money or tempted by money. They're just doing it. It's the right thing to do or to get a good name or reputation. So they might do that for fame and a good reputation, or the right thing to do, or rules. But most likely, good fame.
They do it for fame because they wanna appear like they're doing the right thing to other people.
Yeah.
Wow. And do you think
might have a good heart to do it? Like they want to do it because they like to support it.
Do you think that for most people the aspect of following the rules outweighs doing the right thing? So the reason they follow the law is more because they want to follow the rules and get a good reputation instead of just doing the right thing to do the right thing.
No, I think it's 50-50, not because of the rules, but because they want to get fame. 25% for fame, 25% for rules, and 50% for ability, I think, to do.
Awesome. Once again, because Hari understands that maintaining order is not the only motivator of practicing good behavior, he has passed this stage of the conventional level of morality as well. I'll remind you at this time that based on Hari's age alone, he should be in the pre-conventional level of morality. And the conventional level of morality is usually reserved for adolescents to adults. And so he progressed to the final stage of moral reasoning, the post-conventional level. A level that some psychologists say only 10 to 15% of adults truly achieve in their lifetime. The primary characteristic for the first stage of this level is the ability to separate morally right and legally right, or the ability to understand that some people's perception of what is morally right does not always match the government's perception of what is considered legally right. And within that, the idea that people's ideas of what is considered morally right are subject to change depending on the person's background, culture, education, etc. So you know how there's a legal system with, jury duty and the court system and the judges. You know about that whole, trial process?
Yeah, like when a person is guilty or innocent.
Guilty or innocent, perfect. So do you think that in the legal system, there is one idea that everyone has about what is considered right and what is considered wrong?
Well, sometimes they're the same answer, but mostly it's kind of 50-50.
50-50.
Some people have this idea that he's innocent, some people have the idea that he's guilty.
Wow, that's a good answer. Because Hari understands that different people have different ideas of what is considered morally right, he is well on his way toward thriving in the post-conventional stage of morality. Which brings us to our final question, which also happens to be the most famous question in Kohlberg's theory of moral development, the Heinz dilemma. This long-winded story and the subsequent questions test people's ability to prioritize the role of following the rules versus doing the right thing in their daily lives. The fact that people understand that there might be an inherent contradiction between these two things and their ability to formulate a coherent answer about it points to a heightened sense of post-conventional morality. There is a man named Heinz. Heinz's wife is dying from a particular type of cancer. The doctor said a new drug might be able to save her. The drug has been discovered by a local chemist, and Heinz is trying desperately to buy some, but the chemist is charging 10 times the amount of money it costs to make the drug, and this is much more than Heinz can afford. Heinz can only raise half the money, even with the help of family and friends. He explains to the chemist that his wife is dying and asks if he could have the drug cheaper or pay the rest of the money later. The chemist refuses, saying that he's the one who discovered the drug and he's going to make some money from it. The husband, or Heinz, is desperate to save his wife, so later that night, he breaks into the chemist's house and steals the drug. Should Heinz have stolen the drug?
Well, it was not really the right thing to do because you're taking without his permission, but all the same time, the chemist was being selfish and he did the right thing, also by not selling it. So Heinz is kind of doing the right thing because he's not being selfish. He wants to do it for his wife. He himself. So 60 that it's for a good cause, and 40 that he did it without the chemist's permission.
Okay, so 60 good, 60% bad.
Yeah.
Would that percentage change if the person that Heinz was getting the drug for was not his wife? It was a complete stranger.
this time I'll be 40-60.
Mm.
He doesn't really know that person, but it's the right thing to do because it's out of kindness and generosity, not like if like some stranger walks in and he's sick and Heinz is like, why would I pay for you? I don't even know you. It's not like that.
Yeah.
But if he's doing it, he would probably do it out of generosity. And if he stole, it would be 60% bad because he didn't really know the reason why he's doing it, but he's just doing it.
Mm.
And 40% good is that he's, without knowing, he's doing it without someone telling him to because he doesn't even know this person. Like, nobody's reminding him. But for his wife, he's like, love for his wife was reminding him, and he wanted to save her. But he didn't know the stranger. So it's kind of, like, standing out.
That's a great answer. So 60-40 for his wife and 40-60 for the stranger because it's an act of goodwill, but not as close to Heinz's heart. That is a great answer. And the very last question. Do you think the chemist did something wrong by charging too much money for the drug?
Yeah, just in the past two questions, the chemist did kind of a bad thing because he all he wanted was money. He didn't care about any people. He just wanted money. So he was selfish, but also at the same time, he discovered something. So the Heinz stole, but also I said the chemist just wants money. He doesn't care for people. He just wants money. So he's greedy and selfish, and not caring for others.
Awesome. So do you think that if the wife dies, the police should arrest the chemist for killing the wife?
The chemist didn't really kill the wife. It's that he wanted to, he did. He wanted to sell the drug to him, but he wanted to get money. That's all he cared about. He didn't, like, as I said, care about people. So they shouldn't arrest him, but at the same time, like, give him a warning. If other people and says, no, you have to pay me much more. And you said that he paid 10 times more money. He wanted 10 times more money. So he's being kind of greedy.
Really greedy.
Like Kesha and I would have not done the stealing because it's kind of fat.
He's Here we see that even though he affixes importance toward following the rules, Hari understands that something can be morally correct, even if it's not considered so by an established fixture of society, showing that he just might be headed toward the post-conventional level of moral development. Now, it's important to remember that these questions were generated and analyzed by a 17-year-old high school senior who has taken AP Psychology for 1 year. So it's impossible to say for certain where Hari or anybody stands in these stages of cognitive development. But the fact that psychologists have been able to map out the pattern by which humans develop cognitively, psychosocially, and morally is pretty astounding in itself. And I can say one thing for certain. I have a pretty exceptional younger brother. Thank you so much for watching.